Good morning, Facebook. Welcome to Ask the Expert show. I'm your host, Gary Cassady, and today we are going to be talking mostly about daily behaviors. So we want to welcome everybody to the show, and one of the things I want to talk about is really a daily behaviors. What you do every day to essentially reach your goal every day of what you do to reach your end of the week, being getting your paycheck, whatever it looks like, right? Many of us are self-employed, small business owners, and we don't really necessarily have a weekly paycheck. But what we have to do is we have to break it down to kind of like the ridiculous. So if you're used to getting paid, one check a month, or maybe even like on a quarterly basis, or some guys are getting paid on a weekly basis, right? We have to break down exactly what you have to do in order to make payroll every single week. Okay. Just like if you was running a 9 to 5 job. So one of the things that we talk about a lot is the trainings that I do. I refer to as kind of like a cookbook training. And essentially it breaks down like your behaviors, what you do on a day-to-day basis. Like, for example, how many phone calls do you need to make every day to get those appointments, to get those leads that you need in order to make the sales that you need for your business to make money. So we're going to kind of break that down just a little bit, spend a little bit of time on that as well, and kind of, hit that. But, I always like to start this off and kind of put a little bit of perspective into it is my ACT training, Act Like a Champion, attitude, conditioning, and techniques. I want to focus, this is more of like on the C part of the ACT, conditioning, because you got to condition your mind, your body, and your spirit. And the conditioning is your behavior. Your behavior controls everything. So I'm going to kind of share a screen here with you guys. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Can you guys see that? All right. And so that might be a little bit better there. Get rid of that. All right. So cookbook training. Let's see. As we go through here, it's based on 3 principles, right? Must make payroll every Friday. Never manage numbers. Manage your behavior. Okay. You can't manage anything you cannot control. So one thing that I've always, like in the real estate business, or maybe your retail store, whatever kind of a business that you're operating, there's one thing that you can't control. You can't control how many people come into your store. You can't control what people buy, how much they spend in your store or whatnot. So like on real estate, you can't control when somebody says, hey, I want, I'm going to sell you my house, or you're going to make $30,000 profit, whatever that particular case is. You can actually only control the numbers to reach your goal of $30,000, or control your numbers to reach that $100,000, whatever that particular mark is for you. Okay. So obviously, let's go. You must make payroll every single Friday. Okay. Regard for your salary or draw, you get paid 100% commission, salary plus commission. Whatever that particular case is, it doesn't matter. If you're 100% on your own and you got to sell a house before you do it, it does not matter. Okay. Whether 1 call close or 2-year cycle. Okay. Always plan. You've got to make that payroll every single Friday. I've got to meet my numbers. Okay. If I've got to make $100 a day, whatever that particular number is. Okay. I've got to reach out to 15 people a day. I've got to call 100 people a day. I've got to talk to 10 people a day. Whatever, those are behaviors that we're going to be talking about. Okay. We're going to never manage our numbers, manage behavior. Okay. We're going to manage our behavior, our daily behavior. Obviously, you can't control can't manage anything you cannot control. Okay. So you can't control the amount of sales that you will close. All right. Now, I hate to tell you guys this. If you guys are in business, you guys are in sales. So I've got a lot of people that I start training, especially in the real estate business. And they're like, I'm not in sales. I'm not in sales. But if you've got to be able to sell somebody on why they got to sell you their house. You've got to sell somebody on why they need to come in and give you a discount on that property, whatever the case may be. Okay. You got to still get to that threshold, and you got to learn how to become a salesperson. Okay. You got to hold yourself accountable for your own behaviors, not someone else's checkbook. Okay. Too much behavior will burn out. Okay. Too little behavior will cause failures. I hope you guys can see that good. It's the first time kind of sharing, I think, a PDF document on here, but you guys should be good on that. So you'll need behavior program. Feel free to copy paste. Obviously, if you guys are looking for this, shoot me like an email, message me on Facebook here, and I'll send this actually out to you guys. Okay. So what we're going to do is kind of break things down a little bit, right? And so here we're going to actually take, for an example, we're going to break our goals down. We're going to have some multiple goals. See if I can scroll this down a little bit more so you can see a bit here. So we've got goals from A through D here. All right. If you notice, goal A is a 3-month program goal, 6-month goal. Goal C is 12 months and 5-year plan. Okay. Now, whatever this particular, put a description in there for your goals. Don't automatically just assume that these are going to be, like a salary. Like, I want to make 100,000 plus a year salary. These are particular goals that you would like to accomplish in the next 3 to 6 months, or 3 months to 5 years. So, obviously have a short-term goal. Maybe it's buying another real estate property. What's the cost of that going to be? What's the required deposit going to be? Investment for 1 year. And then you're going to break that down into divide it, like say, for example, we're divide it in 3 months. Okay. Goal B, 6 months. We're going to divide that goal into a 6-month program. Okay. So like, goal A, 3-month program could be something simple as, hey, I want to buy a house in 3 months for a rental property. It's going to cost me $50,000. Maybe I had to put, $10,000 down on it. Okay. Now, obviously, investment required in a year. You don't have to worry about that, right? For this, but as we break these goals down, okay, we will break these down onto kind of like a monthly basis. What do you got to do each month? Right. So kind of think of some goals that you guys would like to do over the next, 3 months to 5 years. And it could be, hey, I want to become independently wealthy in the next 12 months, basically meaning getting out of the rat race, getting financial freedom. All right. What does that look like for you? And how much money do you need to have like passive income coming in on a monthly basis to do that? Break your goals down. All right. Personal behavior planner. Okay. So this here, basically, we're going to break down your entire expenses, anything that you're out there doing. So we want to figure out how to become financially independent, right? Become mortgage free, whatever that looks like for you guys. So here we're going to literally fill in your rent or mortgage, telephone, and these are monthly basis. Then we're going to break it down to weekly and daily. Okay. How much vehicle, how much clothing that you're going to buy on a monthly basis, meals, travel, and entertainment. Okay. Medical, insurance, loan payments, payments to savings account. All right. Payments to like your IRA pension program. We want to break this down just a little bit to the ridiculous a little bit. Contributions, miscellaneous. All right. Credit cards. How much are your total expenses? All right. And if there's something on this list that maybe it's not on here for me, all right, maybe it is for you, add it in here. All right. Add in an additional line here. Okay. Put in here your total fixed expenses, add all that up. Okay. You're going to divide your expenses into a weekly, 4 weeks, and then your daily expenses as well. Okay. But on the daily, it's not really like 30 days, it's work days. So if you work 5 days a week, calculate that minus weekends, minus holidays, minus vacation. All right. So you need to kind of figure that out a little bit. How many days are you going to be using or working a year? There's 365 days a year, roughly every other year. You got a few more, right? Most people do not work that many days, minus holidays, minus weekends. I believe it comes down to about 150, 60 days out of the year, something of that nature. Okay. Calculate those for your days, though. Everybody's days will be a little bit different. Some people will actually only work 2 or 3 days a week. Some people will actually work 5, 6, 7 days a week. So calculate that for you guys. Don't rely on somebody else. These are your particular numbers. Breaking your goals from the initial page, calculate those out. Okay. And then what is it going to cost me each day to go to work? So what we're actually figuring out is what is your daily number? Okay. So if you got to make, say, $150 a day, okay, all right, and you work 5 days a week, okay, that is $750 a day there, times that by 4, okay, that means $3,000 a day or $3,000 a month. Now, some people are going to like, oh, wow, that's just, it's crazy, right? No, not necessarily. I mean, some people may have a $4,000 or $5,000 a day working, day. So, but this isn't just for everybody. I mean, that $3,000 a month, okay, times 12, that's $36,000 a year. There are still people actually making that right now. So, we want to take a look at all the above, right? Okay, but that's $150 a day, 5 days a week. Okay. Now, what if we change that to $500 a day times 5 days? Okay, that's $2,500 a week. Times that by 4 weeks in a month. We got $10,000 on a monthly basis. So obviously that's $120,000 a monthly basis. So you got to figure out what is that daily for you. Now for me, I don't necessarily work 5 days a week. I actually put in 4 to sometimes I work a lot, but it depends on what I'm actually doing and the project that I'm doing. So there's a lot of times I'm actually, averaging like 4 days a week work week. Okay. So what is that particular number? What, do my annual expenses need to, just to make payroll? Okay. What does that look like for you guys? How do you control that? Then we're actually going to take this down to the next level. Okay. Where we actually literally break this down to the very ridiculous. Okay. Just say on this particular example, you're in a sales business, and say my average sale is $1,000 a month, okay, or $1,000. My average sale is $1,000. Percentage of commission I'm paid. I mean, if it's your own business, your own product, maybe you're selling a home study system, it could be 100% that you're paid to that. But chances are you're probably not going to claim 100% of that. You got marketing expenses in there. You've got, program printing expenses, whatever it is, the delivery cost, right? Taxes, all that has to be taken into consideration. So usually, we may be like at a 50% ratio on this here, okay? Because that's, going to your pocket. The other 50% is going into the business for marketing and all those other taxes and so forth, right? So $1,000 a month or $1,000 business sale, 50% commission. My average commission on that would obviously be $500. Okay. Do you have a salary? All right. You may not have a salary. Okay. Now for my behavior planner, okay, up here, right, we would need to figure out what your daily working behavior would technically be. We're going to maybe put this in here. Let's just do a simple, say $200. Okay. So from my behavior planner, I need $200 of daily income. That's still less than $60,000 a year. $300 a day, 5 days a week would roughly be $70,000. Okay. So that kind of put it in a little bit of perspective. Now, a lot of you guys are like, oh, 70,000 is way too low. All right. Put your numbers in, figure out what your numbers are. Maybe you make $250,000 a year. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. What you guys make, you've got to control it for your guys' self, for your own. And you got to figure out what works best for you guys and where you need to be. Okay. So if I had to do $200 in a daily income, okay, how many sales do I need to produce $200 in a day? Okay. Well, from the example up here, we actually only needed to do one, right? Okay. So we were making an average of $500. So I need, half a sale, okay, to produce one sale. All right. I must get in front of how many prospects? All right. So now this is where it really gets a little bit different. Is this something where you actually have to track your closing percentages? Okay. So on a day-to-day basis, you guys should be tracking how many attempts, how many dials you've been making, how many phone calls you've been making, how many people you've actually contacted, all right? And then out of those contacts, actually, how many people actually set up appointments with you, right? So this is a tracking mechanism, all right, that you need to do on a day-to-day basis. So this is something that's very important, and to get your key performance indicators and your daily behavior, it's not an overnight thing. You're not going to be able to just come up with it, right? It's going to change over the numbers based on your closing percentages and so forth. So the first thing you want to start doing is start keeping track of how many attempts you reach out to people, how many, and we can break this down for phone calls. We can break this down for sending direct mail. We can break it down for sending out messages on Facebook. Okay. How many, it doesn't matter. It all breaks down the same. How many attempts? Okay. So if I was making phone calls to people, how many calls do I need to make on a day-to-day basis to reach some, so if I had 25 calls, I reached 20 or made 25 phone calls, but I actually only reached 10 people out of those 25. Okay. And then I set up 5 appointments out of there. Right. What are my numbers? All right. So once we get a good average on how many people we need to phone call on a day-to-day basis, your phone calls may be 25 for this guy, maybe 100 phone calls a day for this particular individual. Okay. Everybody's going to be a little bit different when it comes to making phone calls based on your communication skills, how you sound on the phone, where did you get your list, things that, there's going to take a lot of variations in there. If you're a better salesperson, right? Now, I recommend a book called Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar by David Sandler. It's a great sales tool, starting to get into the sales training. Okay. And there are other books out there as well, but that's a good book that I really enjoy and got a lot from. And I recommend it anybody that's learning to sell. Okay. You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bicycle at a Seminar by David. All right. So as we're breaking this down, all right, now we're going to start keeping track. Now, this is not an overnight thing that you guys are going to do. You're going to do this every day for months, and you should keep doing it, even after that, because then it'll actually tell you. I can tell you based on how many calls you made, how many people you talked to, and how many appointments you set up. I can tell where some weaknesses and strengths are. Right. So, for example, if you made 100 phone calls, and you're making these all at the same time, and you've only got 20 people, then we've got a variance on maybe we need to change the time, right? Maybe instead of 8 a.m., maybe it's 1 p.m. that you need to start making some phone calls, okay? Out of the contacts, how many people actually set up appointments? So there's something there and maybe in a script that we need to do. So if you're contacting 25 people out of 25 phone calls, but you're only getting 5 appointments, there's something broke down there, right? You've got to, there should be a little bit higher percentage. So instead of, reaching 25 people and only 5 appointments, maybe we want to get it to 15 or maybe even 20 appointments that want to talk to you about your product. Okay. Whether you're buying a house, selling vacuum cleaners, it all applies. Right. So we're going to keep track of those. Then the next thing we want to keep track of is once you start running your appointments, how many appointments that you set, how many actually showed up to the appointment, right? So I don't know how many times I've been to, had appointments and no one showed, right? So you want to, how many appointments do you have? How many people that actually showed up to the appointment and you actually was able to do a sales presentation to them? And then thirdly, how many people did you actually close on that sale? How many contracts did you get? Right? That will help me tremendously, help my students, help you guys get to the next number. Those are the numbers that we need to get to. So as we kind of break down here on those 2 scenarios that you should be keeping track of, first off, how many attempts did you get? How many for appointments? And then out of the appointments that you set, how many actually confirm that and actually allow you to do a presentation, and how many out of those contracts or those appointments that you actually sit down and on a presentation to, how many people actually you closed, you actually sold something to. All right. Okay. Now, when I talk about like selling something, I'm like in the real estate business. And when I get a contract, I sold them on why they should sell the house to me at a discounted rate. That to me is a sale. Okay, that's not, I'm buying, yes, I'm buying something from them, but I've actually got to sell them on why they should allow me to buy their house at a discounted rate. Okay. So just keep that very important information there. So in order to get in front of your prospects, okay, I must be in front of blank prospects. In order to get in front of those many prospects, say 25 prospects a week, okay, I must book how many appointments. Now I'm going to tell you your appointments and so forth. They're not all going to be, things going to happen. People, maybe a kid got sick and they have to reschedule. Whatever the case is, it was raining, they had to stay late at work, or whatever the case is, but the appointments will have to be rescheduled. Okay. How many appointments were actually there? I must book how many appointments. I must first speak to blank so many prospects. To make contact with those prospects, I must dial or walk and talk so many times. Okay. So we're going to kind of go back through this backwards a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to use an example, okay, of I must dial the phone or walk and talk. Walk and talk is like you're going in and talking to somebody. Maybe you're calling, stopping in on a property. Maybe you're literally not picking up the phone call. I'm going to just say 100 phone calls, okay? I must dial the phone 100 times to make contact with 50 prospects. I must first speak with 50 prospects in order to book 25 appointments. I must book 25 appointments in order to get in front of how many prospects? 15 prospects. Okay. I must get in front of 15 prospects to produce how many sales? 1 sale, 2 sales, whatever your number is. I'm just use 1 for an example here. To produce 1 sale, I need blank 1 sale to produce, okay, for my behavior, my daily income. So this is on we're going to break this down to a daily basis to reach that, 500 mark, okay. So, and then these up here, just your numbers, your average sale, your average business. All right. Does that make sense? So again, from our behavior planner up here, all right, what does it cost each day to work? Okay. Maybe that's $500 a day. Maybe it's $1,000 a day, or a week. Okay. Whatever it is. Okay. Each working day. So, if you need $2,000 a week, what is that, divided by 4? What is that divided by 5? How many days of the week are you working? Okay. So that's what we're essentially doing, is we're breaking everything down to the most ridiculous, and then we're tracking your behavior. So every day, okay, based on the example I just give you, I know I didn't put in the numbers here, right? It's not allowing me to do this and share with you at the moment. 100 dials or walk and talks. All right. So that's how many do I have to do on a day-to-day basis. All right. If I have to do that if I have to do that $100 a day to get a hold of 25 people to set up 15 appointments or 5 appointments for the week, then that's so what it is. Maybe I can do it in 50. Maybe I can do it in 25. That's going to be, again, how well you can negotiate, how well you can sell. All right. What does that number look like for you guys, for you? All right. You must do your daily behaviors in order to make the end of the weekly paycheck. Okay. So if you want to make $100,000 a year income, 100,000 plus, what does that break down? So let's just do $100,000, right? Divide that by 12. Okay. That's 83. Well, let's just do 8,400 a month. Okay. So 80 is 8,400 a month. Okay. That's what you need to do on a 12. Now break that, and we're going to divide that by 4. All right. That's $2,100 a week that you need to make. Now, if you're working 5 days a week, all right, then we divide that by 5. All right. So that's $420 a day that you need to be focusing on a daily basis. So what do I need to do every day to get in front of enough people to sell my product, get a contract? I'm wholesaling real estate. I'm buying vacuum cleaners and reselling them. Whatever that particular example looks like for you guys, break it down. So in this particular case, on a daily basis, to make $100,000 a year working 5 days a week, I'm at $420 a day. Now, not everybody works 5 days a week. Let's just say I'm going to be working an average of 4 days a week. So now that goes to $525 a day. What do I need to do every single day to make $525 a day? Okay. I'm going to break it down here to the kind of the ridiculous. I must dial the phone or walk and talk. I'm going to say 100 times a day in order to make contact with 25 prospects. I must first speak to 25 prospects in order to book 5 appointments per day. I must book 5 appointments per day in order to get in front of those 4 prospects, because somebody's going to mess up, right? No, not everybody's going to be there. I must get in front of 4 prospects to produce how many sales? 1 sale. Okay. Maybe your closing ratio is not very high. What does that look like? Are you a 30% guy, a 10% guy? Are you an 80% closer? Right. Now, if you tell me you're 100% closer, I'm going to tell you BS. You're not in front of enough people. Okay. No one is 100% closer. If you're 100% closer, that means you're just not getting in front of enough people, and you can do better for yourself. Yeah, you might be making $1 million a year, and you're, I'm 100% closer. You've got a good system, right? But what do we got to get to make you to $2 million a year? It is all a numbers game. Okay. You got to control your numbers by controlling your daily behavior. To produce those sales, I need blank sales to get that $525 on daily income. Okay. If you guys got questions, you can actually, I think you can kind of communicate in the chat box if you're on the Ask the Expert page. So if you do have questions, I know that we got some people on here. We'll try to open up the comment section in case we do have. All right. So, okay. Now we're going to kind of just go down here and we're going to break our goal planning down. Choice governing value. All right. Long range goals, priority, intermediate steps, deadlines. So we want to make a list of all of our goals and what does that look like? Right. So again, this is talking about your daily behavior, what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to make your payroll for every Friday so that you have enough income for each week to pay your bills, to get out of the rat race, whatever that looks like for you, saving money in an IRA, paying credit card bill, paying a credit card off, whatever that looks like. It can all be achieved by if you understand the numbers and your key positioning indicators. Basically what that is we're breaking it down on a day-to-day basis. What do I need to do today in order to make my income for the rest of the week? And then if you divide that out by 12 weeks, that's for the month. That's what I need to do for the month. Okay. Maybe you need to make 100 calls a day to get 15 appointments per day. It doesn't, maybe you're doing stuff over the phone. Maybe you just need to talk to 2 people a day. Everybody's number is going to be a little bit different. Okay. $100,000 a year, four days a week, $525 a day. What do you need to do in order to make that happen? It doesn't matter if you're selling real estate, if you're a real estate agent, you're an insurance agent, a vacuum cleaner salesman. It does not matter. This is what you have to do on a day-to-day basis to make payroll. All right. Go through this quickly again for an example here. We're just going to break this down a little bit. All right, kind of go all the way to the top. Quick review. All right, we got a few more minutes on the call. So our cookbook training, all right, you must make payroll every single Friday. Never manage the numbers, manage your behavior. Your behavior is key, right? You have to act like you're a champion, right? Behavior on that is key. What am I going to do today? If your ultimate goal is making 100 calls a day to make that payroll by Friday so you can make 100,000 plus a year income, all right, if you miss that 100 calls a day, say you only got 80 in, guess what you have to do the next day? Now you have to do 120 calls. But the key is to be disciplined enough to make that behavior, okay? Teach that behavior. And this guys, this applies in sports as well. It doesn't matter, right? So like, for example, you want to become the best free throw shooter in basketball, right? Look at your numbers. How, what is your average? Your stats. So if you have to shoot 3,000 balls a day to become better, then that's what your numbers got to be. All right. So if you look at your game stats, how many free throws do I shoot? To get my highest score? How many 3-pointers do I? Whatever it is, and then you have to control your daily behavior to become better and better at that. Okay. So, you can apply this in everything that you do in your life. Okay. You must make payroll. Okay. Every single Friday, know what you have to do in order to make the bank and meet your obligations. How you get paid, whether you draw a salary, 100% commission, salary plus commission, it really doesn't matter. How long your cycle is, it does not matter. All right. Some people get houses in contract and they got 2 or 3 months of marketing it, rehabbing it, whatever the case is, or renting it out in order to make that monthly income. Okay. To bump that up. Making payroll every Friday means doing whatever you have to do in closing out the week, knowing that you have it. Okay. Never manage numbers, manage your behavior. Manage that behavior. What do I do every day in order to make payroll? What do I have to do every day? You can't manage anything you cannot control. Okay. You cannot control the amount of sales you will close. Those numbers belong to the prospect and the customers that they use at their own will and pleasure, not yours. The only thing you can control is your behavior. You can only be held accountable for your own behavior, not someone else's checkbook. All right. Too much behavior will burn you out. Too little behavior will cause failure. In order to balance out your own behavior, you need a behavior program. Like if you guys are interested in this worksheet, shoot me an email and we'll get it over to you. Okay. Free of charge. Break your goals down. 3 months goal. And then put a description, cost, required deposit. And then obviously here, you're going to break that down to a monthly basis. So divide that by 3. Divide this one by 6 months. So you get a 6-month goal, 12-month, and then a 5-year goal as well. Figure out your personal behavior planner. Rent expenses, telephone, utilities, vehicle expenses, groceries, how much clothes are you going to buy on a monthly basis, travel, entertainment, medical expenses, insurance, loan payments, payments to savings, IRA, pension plan, contributions, miscellaneous. All right. If you need more miscellaneous, put them in there. Okay. What is your total fixed expenses? This helps you get out of the rat race too, guys. That way you know what you need, right? Most people don't know what their total fixed expenses are on a monthly basis. Divide those by 4, and then divide those by the number of working days. So let me actually just do a quick Google search real quick. The average working days in a year. All right. Average working days in a year is 262 days in 2020. Okay. So that's kind of a good number. Now, you may actually, I don't think this does take into consideration a vacation if you're wanting a 1 or 2 weeks vacation. So you may be around closer maybe to the 250 range, 252, something like that. But figure out what it is for you and you only. Everybody's going to work different hours. Everybody's going to work different days. Okay. Figure out what that is, your expenses. What does it cost me each day to basically get up and go to work? That's your main goal, and you don't quit until you reach that particular goal each day. Then we're going to break down our business a little bit. The average sale in my business is how much? Okay. I'm going to say just $1,000. Percentage commission, 50%. My average commission is $500. My salary, okay, I don't got a salary, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe you do. For my behavior planner, I need blank, 425, let's just say $500 in a daily income. Okay. I need to produce how much? Okay. One sale. To produce one sale to reach my $500. Okay. I need one sale to produce. Okay. To produce one sale, I must get in front of how many prospects? So if you're not a great closer, then you're going to have to get in front of more prospects. Let's just say I must get in front of five prospects a day. In order to get in front of 5 prospects a day, I must book how many appointments? Okay. In order to book, I'm going to say 8 appointments. So I must book 8 appointments in order to get in front of 5 prospects to produce 1 sale. So out of 5 people I talk to, I'm only going to close 1 of them, right? Now, some of you guys are like, man, I can sell better than that. Maybe I'll sell 4 of them. That number works for you guys. Everybody's different. So maybe your prospects only need to get in front of 2, right? I must book those 8 appointments. In order to book 8 appointments, I must first speak to how many prospects? Maybe you got to get hold of 20 people, 25 people. I must first speak to 25 prospects. In order to make contact with 25 prospects, I must first dial the phone 50 times or walk and talk a day. Okay. Is that helping you guys? All right. I know you guys can't really reply, so, but all right, guys, we appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Ask the Expert show today. Today, this was kind of a recording, so you can kind of review it as your pleasure. If you guys do want the cookbook training, okay, feel free to reach out to me. Let me type my email in here, and we'll actually kind of display that a little bit here. Okay, there we go. All right. There we go. Go ahead and send me an email if you're interested in receiving the cookbook training, and we'll send it right out to you. All right, just put in cookbook training in the subject line, and I'll send this out to you guys, and I'll even work with you helping you get this set up for you. Learn your daily behaviors. What do you have to do every single day? How many phone calls do you need to make? How many contacts do you need to make every day to reach those prospects? Okay. Send it to Gary at actlikeachampion.com. I live by the motto ACT, act like a champion, attitude, conditioning, and techniques. We appreciate it, guys, and thank you for tuning in today, and hope you enjoyed the cookbook training. Have a great week, guys. Make sure you make your payroll by the end of the week. So.